So hello there, my name's Daniel Metra and welcome to the video. And this is another ERTL collection update, and probably going to be the last one that I do for a while, because as you probably remember me mentioning before, I've got a fairly big bundle of them, and this is the last of that. So I've got quite a few here, and funnily enough, I'm sure you'll agree, apart from the breakdown crane here, all these characters' names begin with D. And so first off we've got Duck, and it's funny, I've got Duck and Duke here, and there was a story in the book Very Old Engines called Duck and Dukes as well, so a bit of a coincidence. But so first off I've got Duck the Great Western Engine, and Duck I wouldn't say was my most favourite character, however I've got this model out of the box. I've got most of the models out of the box as well, and he was one that the one that I've got out of the box I really enjoyed playing with a lot. And I've got Duck in a different style of packaging as well. And I've got a few other characters in this style of packaging as well. As you know, all the characters come in all different styles of packaging. And I like the face on this model of Duck. It looks like his face in the TV series. And in the TV series, Duck's always been engine number 8. But in the Railway series, his number was different. And in real life, I've actually been lucky to see preserved Great Western tank engines like Duck a few times in real life. So yeah, that's Duck. And next off here I've got Diesel, and you probably remember me mentioning Diesel last time, and I've got another model of Diesel as well in the box, but this one the style of packaging is slightly different, and unfortunately there's a sticker there, and you probably can't see it as well as I can, but it's quite firmly glued on, so I'm not going to take it off because I'll probably end up ripping the box, so you can't quite see the animation of Diesel, but then if you turn it over you can see it on the back. I do really like this model of Diesel. I think that captures his face really well. It looks like it does again in the TV series, the show, and it's mainly using models. And Diesel does appear in the show now in the CGI animated series. And I think it's fair to say that when he was in the model era of the show, he didn't appear very much, but he did appear in a lot of the magazine stories. And so because he was in a lot of the magazine stories, he was never really forgotten as such, I don't think. But I've always really liked Diesel. And the only real difference this model is compared to the others is that the style of coupling on the back that it's got. Because most of the characters that come out in this style of packaging came with the newer coupling system. And like I said, I've got all these models out of the box as well. And when I first collected them, I never used to bother keeping them in the boxes, because I used to me they were toys, I played with them. But then my nan brought me one that I already had, Isabel, in the box. Unfortunately my nan's no longer with us. But when she was, so she got me Isabel. I think it was my dad that said to me, why don't you keep it in the box? So I did, and then ever since then people either gave them to me in the boxes or I brought them myself, and just decided to collect and keep them in the boxes as well. There's a video on my channel showing obviously all my big collection that's out of the box as well, and you can see all these under the playlist as well. And when I was younger as well, ERTL was always my favourite range and still is, and I think ERTL was definitely the best range for Thomas. And again, if you look at the magazine stories, I've got a lot of the old magazines. There was adverts for ERTL in them, including the metallics. And the metallic ones I never used to originally have out of the boxes, but when I started collecting them, I brought them in the boxes as well, the metallic ones. But not all the characters come out in the metallic range. Next off, got Diesel 10. And again, Diesel 10 probably wasn't my most favourite character. He was first introduced in Thomas and the Magic Railroad, the film. But then after that he made a few appearances in other films, and he came back in the CGI series. And he was last seen in the episode The Missing Christmas Decorations, and that was the first ever episode that he'd actually appeared in. And also in the Magic Railroad film, Splatter and Dodge, the Diesels were introduced, and so was Lady, and I think Lady was definitely my more favourite one. And I quite like Splatter and Dodge as well. And Splatter and Dodge, their models were Arian Burt's models but repainted. And they look like Diesel. They're like Diesel shunters, like Diesel just there that I spoke about a minute ago. and I wouldn't say this was the best model of Diesel 10, because he's based upon a Class 42 diesel locomotive, and this is basically D199, which is a Class 46 but repainted. I'm sure you'll agree. And also they've got the amount of wheels wrong, because he's got like 8 wheels both ends, whereas he should actually have 4. And his animation there in the corner, you can probably see, that's more what he looks like the model does. But I do like his face. I think his face looks like it did in the film. And again, I was surprised when Diesel 10 appeared again, to be honest, because when we last saw him in Thomas and the Magic Railroad, he fell off a bridge into a barge below. So I think it was quite amazing that he managed to come back, to be honest. But anyway, that's Diesel 10. And like I said, I used to think that his model was Class 40, which is also known as the Diesel, but repainted. But if you look more carefully at the windows and that, I'm not so sure now that it is. I think it's just a D199 model but repainted. And again, a description card on the back shows the animation a lot more clearly. I do like his animation. I think again that looks better than what the actual model itself does. Diesel 10 appeared in the magazine stories a few times as well, but not very often. So like I said, he wasn't ever entirely forgotten, but I say he's not been in the show for ages now, so I'm beginning to think that his character might have been dropped completely. You know, it is nice to see Diesel again, I think, but at the same time, like I said, I don't think he was my most favourite character. And when I was quite young, I found him quite scary, particularly in the American version. But I think, you know, as the appearances have gone on, he's become sort of less scary than what he was originally. And he's also got a grabber there, which he calls Pinchy, which again is probably the wrong colour. He used a beige colour. Anyway, last off, I've got Duke. And again, I've got other models of Duke. So I've got him in the metallic version and the normal version, so the original style of packaging. So yeah, the packaging on this one's a lot different. Again, I quite like the animation of this. And Duke is based upon an engine, or say 2 engines. So one called Prince and the other one called Palmerston on the Stepney Railway. But unfortunately, every time I've been to the Stepney Railway, I've never actually seen Duke's basis there. I've seen plenty of other engines, but not Duke's basis. But hopefully, restrictions being lifted, I'll be able to go again. Maybe see him. And I like the face on this model of Duke. It looks like his face in the TV series. And Duke first appeared in the book Duke the Lost Engine in the Railway series. And he appeared after that. But when he appeared, he only sort of appeared in the background after that, so he never really sort of spoke again, unfortunately, which is a shame because I did quite like Duke. And also, Duke used to live on the Sodor Railway with Peter Sam and Sir Handel. Obviously back then, Sir Handel was called Falcon and painted blue, and then when he came to the Scarlui Railway, he was painted the Scarlui Railway colours. And the same with Peter Sam as well. He was green and called Stuart. So then he came to the railway, and he gained buffers and new coat of paint. And later on, he gained a special funnel as well. But it's funny though, because in the magazine stories, whenever he appeared, his funnel was always round like his old shape. He never had his new shape funnel. I don't know why that was. And Duke also appeared in the magazine stories. And again, in the TV series. Obviously when he first appeared, Sir Handel was called Falcon and his nameplate said Falcon. But then when he became Sir Handel, his nameplate said Sir Handel, and same with Stuart, obviously then become Peter Sam, having his nameplate changed. But yeah, that's Duke. And unfortunately Duke has not been seen in the show since Series 4, which I think's a shame because I thought he was a great character. And the last one I've got here is the breakdown crane. Again, I've got that in a different style of packaging, and I'm sure you agree this model looks like the breakdown crane did in the television series. And it was always seen, you know, rescuing engines. It's been in the magazine stories as well, sometimes looking like this. But like I said, sometimes in the Railway series and other books, it looked quite different. And with the breakdown crane, there was also a coach that come with it, the breakdown unit, but then sometimes that coach was seen you know, just carrying workmen and doing other jobs, you know, and part of trains and things like that, not necessarily always with the breakdown crane. So it's funny here because it says the breakdown truck when it's actually a crane, and like I said, we've got this in another style of packaging as well. So yeah, quite a nice description card. Obviously a bit of a joke as well that it's kept very busy, which is quite true. And probably you saw the other month that I actually got the breakdown crane in the old Hornby range, so the original one. I got the newer one as well. Like I said, yeah, I'm quite pleased to have that. And yeah, I do really like the crane. And it's funny actually, I went out for a walk the other day, and when I went out for a walk, I went and saw the diesel locomotive called Captain Tom Moore, which was named after Captain Sir Tom Moore, who unfortunately passed away in February. And yesterday, the 30th of April, would have been his 101st birthday. And like I said, I saw it coming through Wellingborough doing what they call a unit drag. You can see its name on the side, you know, so I was quite pleased to see that, because I've got the Hornby model of it, but I'd never been lucky enough to actually see it for myself till then. And I've also seen the intercity train called 43102. And it's funny actually, in one of the magazines there's actually a bit here about wheel engines, and it shows one of the HSTs in that colour. And I'm quite lucky because it runs on my local line near my local station. So I've seen it a few times, and it's going to the National Railway Museum in York. Again, a place that I've been to a few times. You know, sad to see it going there really, retiring, but you know, I'm pleased to have seen it in service. And when I saw it the other day at the station, I actually got to, from the outside, the driver let me take a photo of the inside of the cab. Yeah, and I've also got this badge of it as well, and I got these other badges as well the other day to do with the intercity. So you know, for me, quite memorable to see it before it goes out of service. Anyway, that's all my Ursel ones for the time being. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.